Hey everybody, welcome back. This is gonna be the only video I put out today. If it, as you might be able to tell from what's going on behind uh my green screen, I'm a little frazzled. I apologize. This is probably gonna be a long video. It's probably gonna be at least 20 minutes, if not 30 minutes, of me rambling. Which I'm sure is gonna make lots of people click off. But if you're hardcore, I hope that you stick around. I'm just a little rattled. I want to show you guys like the authentic, like, this is the green screen and that's my ceiling fan, right? I've said like 7 times. Stop it. I'm launching a Patreon today. So before you click off, if you already have it, I'd appreciate if you'd hear me out. I want to pull back the curtain a little bit to give you some insight into my thinking here. I'm to be completely honest with you, I'm a bit terrified to be putting this video out there. I'm going to be speaking to my gaming community and my US soccer community as we kind of talk through this. And I have some idea of what I want to say. Like, I've sketched out some stuff. You guys can't see it, but if you see my eyes going down, I'm looking at like the notepad, not a physical notepad, like the program notepad in Windows on my computer, where I've just sketched out some ideas, because otherwise this would just be me rambling completely without any structure. So I thought it'd be better if we had some structure. Okay, so I've always been a really frugal guy, like annoyingly frugal. Like the chair that you guys hear sometimes squeaking in my videos, I've had since probably easily since college, and it only has 2 screws in the bottom that hold the plate. Like, it's like a chair with there's a stem, and then there's the 5 things that go out, and the chair sits on top of all that. There's a platform. It has 4 screws. I've only got 2 of them because they've fallen out and I can't find them and whatever. And I'm too frugal to go buy another one because it still sits, right? So I've been like annoyingly frugal in my life. My wife is awesome. She really balances me out, not in like I'm a crazy shopaholic kind of way, or whatever, but she's really amazing. She's been able to kind of consistently remind me that, like, hey brother, you might not live to see retirement, so all that money that you're saving up for retirement might just be kind of tragic because you never get to see it. So she's been really good with not like, let's go spend all our money, but also like, hey, it's okay if we spend a little bit of money and like take a vacation and things like that. So she's amazing. She stays at home with our kids. Her job is much more difficult than mine, to be completely honest with you, because she spends a lot more time with my kids, like keeping them alive, than I do. But anyway, it's kind of random. I've always been frugal. I mean, like, I guess I was going to show you this. The lights I use for my videos. Let me get this off here. I guess I could show you with the camera, couldn't I? Oh, that's kind of crazy. I don't want to show you that. That's a bunch of garbage over there. Let's not do those. That's a bad idea. Bad idea. What was I thinking? This is the light. I have 3 lights. I have one over here, I have one up here, and one over here. These 2 down here light the green screen, right? So like it makes you disappear. Green screen, yay! It goes back there, right? But like that is a clamp, and it's not a professional studio light by any means, and it's clamped onto a music stand. That like messed everything up. It's probably gonna fall off. Anyway, it's clamped on a music stand that you would use if you were like in an orchestra, or if you sang, or if you're a conductor or something like that. That I have 2 music stands and 3 of these homemade lights that my amazing father-in-law put together and is letting me borrow. But that, like, I don't know. This is a long ramble about me being really cheap, I guess, but I've just been really frugal. I've always enjoyed, obviously, content online. I grew up with a generation that didn't have the internet and then suddenly did, and it's like the craziest thing ever. And I would enjoy content online and not use an ad blocker on purpose. Because I knew using an ad blocker would kill off the content that I liked. Right? If I wasn't paying for it, if I wasn't paying like the whatever New York Times monthly subscription or whatever it was, if I wasn't paying for it, I knew somebody else had to be paying for it, And so it's like it has to either come from the readers or from like advertisers. This is like back in the day, like web, like the banner ads that you still see, right? And but I wouldn't run an ad blocker because I knew it was helping out that writer or that YouTuber or whatever to get a few pennies or whatever it was. It seemed like a really fair trade, right? Like you produce good content, you get really popular, enough people read it that people want to advertise, and you make some money doing it that way. But a few things happened this year that have really made me change my stance on that specifically. First, I became a YouTuber. That's why you're here, right? And I know, like, shocker, you probably saw that one coming, right? So I guess Lelujo put out a video at the end of 2016 that was like essentially like a rallying cry. Like he wanted to see something crazy, like 5,000 new content creators in the FM community by the end of 2017. And he admitted, he was like, it's partially selfishly, because if they do really well and like they're like, hey, this guy inspired me, like I'm saying right now, then like that's good for him in some way, right? It's just being a good community member, and understanding that, you know, you can have a big slice of a small pie or a smaller slice of a much bigger pie, and that's good for you still, right? So good job to him. So I kind of hopped into this. If you've watched any of my first 50-ish, maybe 75 episodes of like the Journeyman last year with From Backpack to Boss, it was definitely a learning experience. Like I go back and I watch that first episode 0, and I'm just like, one, I didn't have facial hair, so it looks weird now, and I didn't have a green screen, I didn't have lights, like, and there's a lot of yeah, like talking. It just makes me cringe, right? But as I got into this, I'm a bit of an A-type, and I like to do things really, really well or not do them at all. And I guess I didn't really understand how much work went into putting out at least what I think is pretty good content now. I'm not saying I'm Loki Doki, I'm not Dr. Benji, I'm not Lelujo, I don't have a comma in my subscriber number, right? But the growth of the channel, I started on January 11th of 2017, and the growth honestly has kind of blown me away. It's been staggering. I was hoping to get to like 500 subscribers by my 1-year anniversary, and here we sit at like 875, 880, somewhere in there. It kind of fluctuates. That is crazy. Like we should, assuming nothing does, maybe this video is the disaster, but assuming nothing disastrous happens on the channel before January 11th of 2018, we should hit 1,000 subscribers, which is just, it's mind-blowing. Some of you are here because you found my U.S. soccer videos after I cried over the U.S. not making the World Cup in 2018. You're important too. Some of you are from my gaming content, and that was kind of like the core community that we started. I think I have a really unique audience that like we can kind of talk about both things, and I have some folks that aren't American that still want my take on the insanity that is the U.S. like soccer system. So that's been cool, even though I'm just a guy, right? I'm not some pundit, but I have, I think, some decent arguments. So anyway, the growth has been absolutely staggering, and I think people think it's good content, but it's been real eye-opening as to how much work goes into that. You know, I figured it wasn't easy, right? But putting out daily content, especially, and like there for a bit, I was putting out 2 videos a day, and I don't think I can keep that up, honestly. Has been incredibly challenging. It's not just recording it. That's actually like the part that's the easiest that I like turning these lights on and grabbing this microphone right here and going to town. I like that. It's like being on stage. Little behind the curtain here. In a former life, I spent some time on stage, and in a more recent former professional life, I did work in professional classrooms, is what I'll say, to where I think that has helped me a lot in terms of my presence on videos. You wouldn't believe it based on my first 50 episodes last year, but I do think it's helped that I understand how to be a little bit more engaging. Like I try to focus on looking at you all in the camera, right? So that it looks like I'm looking at you rather than looking at a screen. I think I know how to like react to where it's not a disingenuous reaction, it's my honest reaction, but like in a way that like comes across to you. I know how to fluctuate my voice because, you know, if you watch content, sometimes it's like, hi, my name's Gray Hair Gaming, and it's just like, you might have the most interesting visuals going on, but I can't put my earbuds in my ears and listen to you for 15 to 30 minutes. I just can't, right? So that part is actually like a lot of fun for me. I really enjoy it. But editing it, uploading, creating thumbnails, learning how to do all that. I use GIMP, which is a free like open source version of Photoshop is the easiest way to understand that. I use I was using my MacBook Pro with iMovie for a long time, and now I've moved up to HitFilm Express, which is again a free open source kind of like the Adobe software that I can't remember because I don't pay for it right now, right? I don't have it. Their video editing software. So like learning how to do the fade ins and fade outs and like the subscribe button that you're seeing pop up on this video at random points. I've had to learn how to do all that, which has been a lot of fun. Like I like being a lifelong learner, and this has been kind of a project in terms of lifelong learning for me. But it does take a ton of time. And don't hear me wrong. I'm not trying to moan about, you know, the hours of sleep I've lost or the things I've had to do, because I've wanted to do this. So it's not like there's nobody like forcing me to make YouTube content. I just like doing it. But it has been kind of like a wow, that really took a long time to put together. So I guess this is, again, I'm sorry, this is a bit of a ramble. I'm trying to say it's made me greatly appreciate the content creators I do enjoy, like Loki Doki. Like, I'll be honest with you, I talked to a bunch of FM YouTubers. I'm in a little community where we kind of like support each other and bounce ideas off each other and stuff like that, and that's really, really cool. But there's now so many people doing FM content that like I can't keep up with it, and I'm sure you can't either, which makes me all the more appreciative that you're even watching this video and watching my content. Like that's that's really cool. But like I watch Loki Doki religiously because, again, in a previous life when I traveled, I would get back to my hotel room at night and binge watch Loki Doki, and like he lifted my spirits, he made me laugh, you know, like it was just good content. But it's made me appreciate, wow, like how much time and effort went into that content, and probably that ad view that he got for me, that if he gets 1,000 of those might pay him $2 or $3 on average, means my view is worth not even a penny. And that seemed a little unfair. Even though I watch like all of his ads and all that. So as of today, I'm gonna start supporting Loki Doki on Patreon. I am. Because I think it's a fair trade. I get content that I enjoy all month long. I think it's a fair trade to throw him a buck, right? So that's the first thing, is I became a YouTuber, and I kind of realized how much work actually went into that. I told you it was going to be long. Oh my goodness, it's already 13 minutes. Oh, I'm so nervous with this video. Okay. Second, good content I enjoy has either ceased to exist or has been threatened to cease to exist. This has actually happened in my life. So this is more on the US soccer route, but I think if you're one of my gaming viewers, it makes sense there too. Will Parchman is a guy. He covered US soccer in the United States for TopDrawerSoccer.com. He had to quit like kind of unexpectedly, at least from like the outside, as like a general guy who just read articles, essentially to quote, get a real life or a real world job to pay his bills. That's not how he phrased it. That's a gross paraphrase, I guess, but that's essentially what happened. Is he essentially said, like, there hasn't been enough money for me to keep doing this as a career and still like have a life where I want to like have some money set aside and, you know, do all the things that people with careers want to do. He felt like he couldn't do that. And this is a guy that watched US soccer like a hawk, like the best, if not one of the best, I guess. Or maybe I should have said one of the best, if not the best guys who watched US youth soccer and like wrote about it all the time. And he couldn't make a living doing it. That's tragic. Like and I feel a little guilty about it. Like if I was one of, I don't know, 20,000 people that read his articles every month. If only a small subset of us gave some money, he'd still be doing it, and we'd have good content that we'd still be enjoying, and I would understand better who's in the US, U15 team that we should be looking out for in 3 years, right? But I don't have that right now because he had to give it up. When the US men's national team failed to make the World Cup in 2018, I was legitimately worried that my favorite soccer podcast, Total Soccer Show, we did the FM17 experiment with them a while back, would go out of business. And it happened like the US failed to make the World Cup pretty close to Will Parchman saying, "Hey, I got to go get a real job." Like he was first, and then we didn't make the World Cup. And I just had this fear. Like I knew I couldn't let a podcast that I had enjoyed for at least 2 years go away. A podcast that, as I traveled nearly 50% of the time in my previous job, kept me sane on long flights all over America. Like I listened to them all the time. So I did my part. I signed up for their scouting network, which was essentially like doing Patreon via PayPal, like subscription via PayPal before Patreon was a thing. And I give those guys $5 a month. And they're their scouting network, if you don't know, you may not care, but I'm rambling. It's fine. They assign you a like an exciting young player, or you can request one. And then like you send in scouting reports every month when something's going on with your player. Like Weston McKennie played in the Borussia Dortmund Schalke game and had a really not great game. So like his scout would send in a scout report on that from yesterday's game. Cool. Or 2 days ago. By the time you're saying this, it's 2 days ago. But whatever, you see what I'm saying. So it's worth every penny to me to support those guys. And I'm thankful, right? They've announced several times on the podcast, like a ton of people did the exact same thing I did and said like, "Hey, are you guys okay? Like, I know you were planning on like covering every single game of the World Cup from your studio, and you're not going to leave us, are you?" And they said like, they've been overwhelmed with the support. So like, that's cool, right? So like, that's another reason why, my perspective has changed, is I've seen good content go away or be at risk of going away. Third, and this might be a little unexpected, Stoke Sarri. Yes, Stoke Sarri happened. So what on earth am I talking about, right? So a bit of a long story to get to where that makes sense. I have run a side business with my wife for the last several years, reselling stuff on Amazon and on eBay. It generates a little bit of extra income every month. It's hard work, but we hustle together. It gives us a reason to like spend more time together. And we hustle together and we get it done. And as a family with a single income, every little bit helps, right? And I don't know if it takes a little pressure off me, but like, because I'm still doing some of the work, but it just helps, right? But in reality, I've been running a really big risk running that business because I haven't formed a limited liability corporation, or it's called an LLC in the United States. I've been running it out of my house with my address and name attached to it. So like, hey, what's the risk with that, right? Like, you're just selling stuff on Amazon and eBay. Well, somebody in theory could buy something from us and whatever, choke on it, or put it on the floor, on their kitchen floor, and slip on it and, break their neck or whatever, and sue us directly because we're the company, right? Like we're running it as, I can't remember if it's a sole proprietor or a partnership. It's probably a sole proprietorship under my name, but it's essentially like it's us rather than like Gray Hair Gaming Incorporated, right? And I've stalled in forming an LLC for like 2-3 years now, and I don't know why. I just have. It's dumb. Like, I have a business degree. I have a higher business degree. That's dumb, dude. Like, you're being dumb. Don't be dumb. Fix it. File an LLC. It's some paperwork with your state. File it. I don't know. I guess it's fear. I guess it's like commitment. Maybe it costs about, in my state, about $500 a year to have both an LLC and a PO box address that is your business address, but it's not a PO box, but it's really a PO box, and everybody does it type deal. So it's like I'm committing to generating enough profit to not only cover those costs, but for those costs to be worth covering, right? And we do that like on our side business in a year, like easily we do that. But I never formed an LLC, which is dumb. Like it's so like, and it's one of those things like now I feel like it's been so long. It's like been this thing that's like, it's almost like I need my wife to go do it because like, it's just too heavy. It's just been like this thing around my neck where I'm just like, every time I'm like, I should go do this. And I just haven't. Anyway, so I started this journeyman save on FM18 and I end up with Stokesary, and those crazy guys started interacting with me on Twitter and asking for more playing time, and they're in the comments, and they're like, they're not just like stopping in, like they're coming back, and they're in, when I comment back, they're responding, and it's like a conversation with this like this team in a town of my understanding is like 400 people in Iceland. And it's just been incredible. Like it's been so much fun. Because it's not manufactured. Like it's not like I reached out to the club and they were like, yeah, we'll play along. It's like, it just happened. Like I think Andre Martinsen, who is the brother, he's currently on the team, but he's not in the database I have, but his older brother is on the team and in the database. He followed me one day on Twitter and his last name was Martinsen. And I was like, that looks like the name of the guy I have on the team. Maybe it's a common name. I don't know. And like, it just kind of went from there. And it's just kind of been this cool thing to the point where the club at least offered to send me a shirt. That's like, I didn't like buy it. Like it wasn't like I purchased it. They just said they and okay, so if they're gonna send me a shirt, they need an address, and I'm always hesitant to give out like my home address. That just weirds me out. Like I'll let Amazon have it, that's fine. But like I don't know, it's just a thing. It's just my personal thing. So I needed a PO box, and a PO box is a giant step forward for me in terms of setting up an LLC. So like I went and did that last week because of Stokesary, because they offered to send me a shirt, and I don't know if they did, because I haven't checked to be honest with you. And it's if they did, it's coming from Iceland. It's probably not here yet, like customs and all that kind of stuff. And but like them doing that kind of like, I don't know, like urged me to man, it's like, man, just go set up a freaking PO box, you know? Like it just kind of it made me want to do it. So setting up that PO box is really like the first step in me taking my online adventures, whether it's selling stuff on Amazon, on eBay, or doing this or whatever, a bit more seriously. It means I have an address for my LLC paperwork. It means I've committed $180 for the first year, and because there was a discount, and then after that, if I keep doing it, it's $240 per year to have that address. So I'm committing to you all, I'm gonna have an LLC by January 1st, or you can stop watching this channel. Or I'll commit to having the paperwork filed. I actually don't even know how long it takes to get the paperwork like back from the state. I don't think it's that long, but like I'm committing that I will at least have it filed and saying like I'm putting a Gray Hair Gaming flag in the ground for January 1st, 2018. After I have that, I can get an employer identification number, which is essentially like a social security number in the US, but for businesses, so that I can open up a business bank account. And with that, like I can withdraw money from YouTube revenue and Patreon and stuff like that correctly into like a business structure where it falls on the business and all the liabilities on the business and all that kind of stuff. I plan to get a website. I would like us, like, assuming this thing that we're doing here as a community keeps growing, I want to have like merchandise. I'm going to need someone to design it because I don't know how to do that. Or maybe I'll learn. Who knows? Like, I've learned how to quasi edit videos, I guess. But I really want to see where we could take this thing. It's been really cool. The journey thus far in the first 11 months of existence, almost 10 and a half months of existence. But like that PO box, from just a mental standpoint, has been a big step for me to take. So Stokesary, I am even if you didn't end up sending me a shirt, I'm forever grateful, because it kind of made me get off my butt and do something. Okay. Fourth, and finally, I think finally, YouTube has made it extremely disheartening to use their advertising system to generate revenue as a content creator. If you follow me on Twitter at Gray Hair Gaming, just like the channel, just all one word, Gray Hair Gaming, go do it. It's fine. I'll wait. If you followed me over the last 4 to 6 weeks, I'd say I've tweeted maybe 20 to 30 times at Team YouTube, which is like at Team YouTube, because that's the account they ask you to tweet at. And I've been tweeting at them for demonetizing my videos. So let me explain how demonetizing videos works. I'll do that in just a second, and I'll probably do a poor job of it, but my basic understanding of it. But I guess I should talk about why I monetize my videos at all. Like I said, it takes a lot of time to do this. I want to take this into something much bigger. I want to buy studio lights to where I'm not using the ones I showed you. I want to buy a non-squeaky chair. I need to replace my water heater in my house. Water heaters take precedence over lights and squeaky chairs. I'd like a boom mic, you know, a thing that like comes in like this that holds your mic up for you, so that when I hit the table or accidentally clink this with my arm, sorry if that just blew up your eardrums. I have no idea what that sounded like because I don't have my earbuds in. Like, I'd like to get a boom mic. I'd like to build a new ergonomic desk, to be completely honest with you, because right now all I've got is this wrist pad thing, and I wear a wrist brace at night, not brace, like a sports brace at night to kind of like help my wrist relax and heal up. I'd like to get a better camera so that, like right now, the size of where I am on this video is because if I blew it up all the way, it starts to get a little bit fuzzy. And I have a C920, which is a Logitech, and it's like, from my understanding, it's like the cat's meow when it comes to webcams, but maybe I need to get like an actual camera. I don't know. So even if I didn't pay for any of that stuff, I'd like to start earning a return on investment for the big chunks of time I take every week to put out content. And I think that's fair. I think it's fair. So let's talk about demonetization. So YouTube had, you may have, sorry, I just unintentionally hit my pop filter on my mic. Sorry if that blew up your eardrums. Maybe you've heard of the adpocalypse, which is some stuff happened to where advertisers suddenly realized on YouTube that their ads were being played against really ugly content, like really bad, ugly stuff that like no one, like, no, it's just bad. Like, I don't want to mention it because I'm honestly afraid of YouTube like flagging this video, but like, think about the worst things on this earth that you could have content about, and then imagine like Coca-Cola running an ad before that video played. They weren't very happy about that, and so YouTube was scrambling and came up with theoretically a machine learning system that when you upload a video to YouTube, it is scanning that content somehow. I don't know how it does it, but it's scanning the content somehow and determining whether or not that content is safe for advertisers or not. And if it's not, there's an icon that if it is safe, it's green to show like, hey, we're running ads on your content, bling, right? And if it's not, it turns yellow to be like, hey, we're running limited or no ads on your content because it's not safe for advertisers. Which is fair. Like, I get what like YouTube has to do, is they have to like stop that somehow. The problem is the system isn't learning very fast if it's machine learning. And they said they've made tweaks and whatever, but like there was a run there where like for like, I don't know, a week or two, every single video I uploaded got flagged. And as you know, if you like watching my content, when I put out a video, it shows up in your subscription box on YouTube. You hop in, you watch it. There's a big surge of views in the first, just call it 24 hours of a video, right? And if that's where a bulk of your views come, which is going to happen pretty much to any channel, and you're demonetized, you're losing a ton of potential revenue, even if it's a little bit of revenue. Like, I don't earn a ton of money on YouTube. I share with you all my analytics, so it's not like I'm like rolling in bajillions of dollars every year or month or whatever. But like, if you lose that first 24 or 48 hours of views, you've lost 75 to 90% of the potential revenue for that video. And I'm okay that they need to have this system to try and figure this out, but it seems like, hey, if you flagged 20 videos in a row, and you can request a review as a YouTube creator to say like, hey, this is good content, safe content. What are you talking about? And they say they'll have someone review it, or have like the software go back and review it or whatever. This isn't like, I don't know all the ins and outs of it. I know I hit request review, and it says you have to have 1,000 views on the video before a human will like review it. And well, my content doesn't get 1,000 views. Like it could take a month, a year to get 1,000 views. Like I don't have that many subscribers. So it's essentially like saying, hey, thanks for putting that content out there, but good luck. And you know, sometimes within 48 hours or 72 hours, it would go back. Sometimes within like a half hour, it would turn green. Like, it's just like this. But what it does to you as a content creator is like, hey, all that work you did last night or 2 nights ago where you recorded this content and you edited it and you uploaded it and you scheduled that video and you worked on the thumbnail and all that kind of stuff. Sorry, sucks for you. And you have no recourse. It's not like you can call 1-800, talk to a human at YouTube and get someone on the phone and have a conversation with them. And it's like, again, I honestly can't remember if I said this. Like, if it flagged 20 videos in a row and it all turned out to be good content, you'd think you would get like, not a pass, but like, hey, this is probably content we shouldn't be flagging. Like that would make some sort of sense to me. Like, hey, we've flagged like 50 of your videos and every single one of them we've determined has been good. So we should, like, the next time we go to flag your video, we might think twice about that. But that hasn't been happening. Like, I had 3 okay, so this is coming out on Tuesday. The episode of The Journeyman on Monday, and then the two videos on Sunday with Motorsport Manager and The Journeyman all got flagged yesterday for like a majority of the day. So like I essentially earned nothing for those. It's just disheartening. And that's not to mention like the massive cut of revenue that YouTube gets for running your content, which, I mean, to be fair, they deserve a cut. Like, don't hear me wrong. I don't pay YouTube any money to host my videos that have you comment on them and watch them and distribute them. And like all the technology that's involved with that is absolutely insane. They've got to pay for the servers and all that good stuff. So I'm not trying to trash YouTube at all. I just think how they've gone about implementing their, bad content catching system is really, 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 really poor. And if you're not a big name, if you don't have 1 million subscribers or whatever, then I can sit here and wave my flag all day long on Twitter and say like, this is ridiculous. But it's like, YouTube doesn't really care. Like, I'm not earning them bajillions of dollars in ad revenue to begin with. So it's like, if the small content creators are mad, tough, right? But anyway, monetization. You probably notice I've had more ads in the middle of videos. YouTube has a thing where you upload it where you can click suggested placement, which is essentially their system saying, hey, you should probably put ads here, here, and here. So I had a video recently. It was about, I think, like 24 minutes in length. And the suggested placements for it was a video. It's called a pre-roll video, which is like before the video rolls. So the first, before you even see my face or any of the content, it rolls a video. And then 3 other videos in the middle of the content. That's a lot. Like, that's like watching TV. I to be honest with you, I rolled with it because 1, well, it's like, well, if that's what they're suggesting and I do want to make money. And 2, I thought using suggested placement might somehow make YouTube happy to where like they wouldn't flag the video, just being honest. That probably isn't true, but I just, make YouTube happy. Maybe they look out for you. I don't know. But it feels really dirty to do that. Even though I know there's people out there who watch my content that will gladly sit through like a 3-minute fancy mattress video ad just to support my channel. Like, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. That's incredible. That's a long time to watch an ad. But I don't want you to have to do that. I don't like breaking up content with ads. It's like watching American college football. Like, thank you to European football / soccer. You have ruined me, because I can watch a game and have 45 minutes of like no ad, like no like breaks. Like, they have the ads that pop up in the boards and whatever, but like no breaks in action. It's ruined American sports for me. So thanks. But it's like I feel like doing that with my content is like putting my viewers through what like American sports do. It's like with college football, every 3 minutes there's a break in the action and they run 3 ads. And it's just like annoying. So that's where you come in. Okay. We are now 35 minutes into this video, and I'm just now getting to explaining what I'm talking about. I'm starting a Patreon. The link is in the description. And just in case you don't know what that is, let me give you a brief explanation. So if you already know, just hang tight for just a second, and I'm going to walk through what I want to do with it. So don't just abandon. So Patreon is essentially the subscription model for your content. So like I talked about way 30 minutes ago, where back in the day I would look at content online and not run an ad blocker, or not skip the ads or whatever, run an ad blocker on YouTube videos, because I figured that was helping out. So it's either like the content has to be paid for by the readers if it's like a newspaper, or viewers in terms of YouTube, or by ads. Like those are the 2 models. If there's another model where the government pays for it, I'd love to hear it, right? Those are the 2 models. So with Patreon, they allow content creators like me to directly get support from their community in ways that they may not have access to through whatever platforms they use. Okay. So Patreon is a website that handles all of the like the credit cards and the billing and the like chargebacks and like all the things that you have to juggle if someone's giving you money. And they really simplify it and say like, if you want to support my channel, you can go on there and you can say like, I'm going to support Gray Hair Gaming. I'm going to give Gray Hair Gaming $5 a month. And like, all that I see is that like, I have this account, and again, I've not signed, like I'm in the midst of, I'm doing this video before signing up. So maybe I'm completely wrong. Hey, thought it through. But like, all you see is like, you got a new person supporting you on Patreon. This is how much they're giving. This is who they are, blah, blah, blah. And then like monthly, you withdraw the money. And Patreon takes a fee for that. They take 10%. It's like 5% for them and 5% I understand for like credit card fees, which makes sense because that's the cost of doing business. But as a content creator, you get to keep 90% of what you're generating, which is significantly more than you get with like YouTube ads. Much more. Okay. So, and it's more consistent. You don't have to be dependent. Like right now it's November and December. So in theory, if you run ads on your YouTube channel, you make more money because it's like the holiday season and people go out and buy lots of stuff. And so to do that, people or companies run ads. Well, then in February, like maybe the ad revenue goes down significantly because no one is buying ads. So it gives you, it's like, it's a consistent monthly income to where you don't have to worry about ads and all that good stuff. Right. And it's just a nice way for your community to say like, hey, we appreciate what you're doing. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. Now content creators do it different ways. Like there's some people, it's like, they might put out a video a month and it's like, because they do like crazy production and all that kind of stuff with like real cameras and whatever. And it's like, for every video, I'll give you $5 because you put out an hour length documentary every month or whatever. What you see more commonly, I think, on gaming channels is more a monthly, like regardless of what you do, I'm going to support you for this month, like a flat amount. So it doesn't matter if you put out 10 videos or 50 videos, you're getting my support for X dollars a month rather than X dollars per video. Because in theory, with X dollars per video, like you could just put out a bunch of videos and like really rack up, but like make lots of people mad, right? So on the monthly model, people do different like they do their support different ways. And yes, I am reading this because I don't want to screw up what I'm telling you. Off of my little fancy notepad. So some people do, like, if you support at the basic level, it's just like, thanks. And if you support at the next level, you might get some sort of a perk. And if you support at the level above that, you get like the original perk plus like something even fancier. And it could be something like a group chat or a one-on-one session, or, you know, something on Twitch, or like, I don't know, like there's a bunch of different things that you can essentially dangle the carrots to say like, well, if you'll give me X per month, then I'll also do this, and this. Some people hide content behind Patreon. It's like, hey, there's a Patreon specific video if you give $10 a month or something like that. Or you get your name in the credits. So like, there's so many different ways you can do it. And I am not judging how anybody does it. Like, content creators are just trying to find ways to engage with their audience and make an income. Like, I hope that didn't come across as like I'm judging how, well, oh, you do that. I don't believe in hiding your content behind some sort of a paywall. Because that seems like I know there's going to be people that are like big supporters of my community, but they might be like really broke Danish college students, right? Like, I know we had some conversations on the channel like that, like back in Dominating Denmark with FM17. I know that was the thing. And it's like, that doesn't seem fair to be like, well, you're lesser than because you're trying to get an education, you know, and you can't afford to support my channel. I look down my nose at you, right? Like, that seems like that's not right. So I'm never going to hide my content behind some sort of a paywall or anything like that. Everything I do, whether if I get into streaming or if I'm just doing YouTube, is going to be, you're going to have access to it, even if you don't end up supporting me. Sorry, this is like, I'm sure you can tell like my face is getting red because I'm nervous about this. My plan right now is to have 2 tiers. Before I explain the tiers, I want to make sure y'all know I don't want anyone to support me that can't afford to support me. I don't want anybody getting credit card debt. Like, it's not worth that. Like, you can watch my content for free. It's fine. Like, not gonna bother me one bit. I'd rather you take care of you than worry about me, right? Because this is something I choose to do. And maybe when you're on better footing, maybe then you can support me, but don't go into debt to support some crazy YouTube guy. All right, so the tiers. The first tier is going to be a low amount. Again, I'm in the midst of signing up for Patreon. That's why I went ahead and opened up the browser that you can see. It might be $1.50. It might be $2. I don't even know if you can do like $1.50. I've never seen that. The reason I want to do a little bit more than $1 as the lowest tier is, one, it's the low tier is like a monthly vote of support. Like, if you're willing to give money to the channel, to me on Patreon, you probably watch a lot of my content. So you're essentially saying like, dude, I see some value in what you're doing. But when you factor in, you know, Patreon gives you 90% and then you have to pay taxes on it. And I'm sure there's a transaction fee with PayPal, because like they send you the money via PayPal, and I'm sure PayPal has fees. If you gave $1, like, I would probably only end up with like 60 cents. And so I'd like to get to a point where like, I know I'm at least getting $1 net from a patron, I think is what I'm going to mess that up a lot. If you're a supporter on Patreon, it's called a patron. So I'd like to get at least $1 from anybody that's a patron. The second tier is going to be higher. I don't know how high. I want to hear from you all what you think is fair. I'm thinking like 10 or 15. I think 20 for a channel like mine that's got 800 something subs is probably a bit aggressive. But I want that to be the tier where I can, like, we do some sort of interaction with like games that I'm playing, right? Where maybe I can, like in Darkest Dungeon, right? We changed some of the names of the heroes in Darkest Dungeon to people who were already part of the community that commented a lot. Doing stuff like that to where if you give X amount per month, like, and you're okay with it, I'll throw your name into one of the games I'm playing as a character or something like that. I do want to get into XCOM 2. I don't know when I'm going to do that, but apparently in XCOM 2, you have a bunch of soldiers because they die off quite a lot. And I've never played an XCOM game, so you're going to die a lot, right? Where you can name your soldiers after your patrons or stuff like something cool like that. So those are going to be the 2 tiers. I want to hear from you what you think the second tier should be. Okay. Gosh, we're at 45 minutes. This has gone too long. I apologize. In exchange for your support on Patreon, and I don't know at what level, I don't know what makes sense. I'm still trying to figure this all out. But I'm thinking I really don't like ads in the middle of content. I feel like with YouTube, since I don't pay YouTube anything, I owe it to them to run some sort of ad because they deserve to earn a return on the investment of hosting my content. So I'm thinking I would leave the 30-second ad before the video up. Like that would be something that would happen on every video. And then assuming we get to a certain level of Patreon support, I would cut out the videos in the middle because I personally find that annoying. So it's like, it's like you, if you support me on Patreon, it's like you're taking one for the team because like your $1 or your $2 or $3 or whatever covers a ton of views, right? And so in fairness, I want my content to be as streamlined as possible. I would cut out the ads in the middle of the videos. I'd also like to do something whereas we as a community do like cool things like support cool charities. Maybe part of my Patreon money goes towards cool charities like Charity Water, which I've talked about before on this channel. You know, today is Giving Tuesday after all. So I don't have that fully formed as an idea yet, but that's just something that's kind of like going on in my head. So if you've made it this far, 46 minutes in, I really appreciate it. That's what I want to talk to you guys about today. I've been really worried about this video for quite some time. It's been on my mind in terms of getting a return on investment of my time, taking this thing to the next level. I don't want you guys to think like I'm a sellout or I'm money grubbing or anything like that. I've been really worried about it because I'm afraid like I'm gonna put this video, it's gonna be super long and people are just gonna leave and not watch it, and even if they did watch it, they're still gonna leave. You know, like it's all these things that go on in your brain. Even though I feel like this is the right thing to do, you just naturally worry when you do something, you know, out of the ordinary for your community based on the previous 10 months, right? I hope you understand where I'm coming from. And even if you don't want to or can't support me on Patreon, I really appreciate that you watched this whole video and that you've watched my other content. Because if you're here 47 minutes in, you've watched my other content, right? So I can't thank you enough for being part of this community, this thing called Gray Hair Gaming. I'm so excited for 2018 and to see where we can take this, or this channel with this community. I've got other ideas for potentially other channels where we can do other content. There's a lot we could do. But if you're here at this point in the video, I just want to say thanks. It's 2017 has been crazy. I look forward to 2018 with you watching. I just had a coughing fit. Anyway, I look forward to seeing what 2018 looks like for us as a community. Thanks. No, really. Thanks for watching. Assuming I've gotten YouTube to approve the link, I'm going to have a link to the Patreon somewhere up here. And no, really, you guys are awesome. Thanks for being here. I kind of want to throw up after this video, to be honest with you.